On today's Tech Help for Churches, be imitators of God. Be everywhere. Welcome everyone to another episode of Tech Help for Churches. My name is Paul Allen Clifford. I'll be your host today. And I want you to join the conversation by emailing me, paul@trinitydigitalmedia.com. Call toll free and leave a voicemail message, 1-877-763-3246. That's 1-877-POD-ECHO. Or join the live stream. This show records live every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific at churchtechcast.com. And you can join the live chat there and ask questions, comment, interact, etc. I'm just so glad of all the interaction that I've gotten in the last few weeks. So continue to bring it on. And any questions I'll save for the Friday show, which is released later. That's our Church TechCast Q&A show. A quick announcement. If you like to watch the live recording of my shows, on Thursday I'm going to be recording Technobabble a little earlier, probably around 9 a.m. Eastern, which is 6 a.m. Pacific, since that's the 4th of July. As I'm recording this is July 1st. I want to get Technobabble out because that's kind of its anniversary show. I've been doing this since, I think, 2005. Might be 2006. I'll have to look that up. So that's worth doing. You can, by the way, find Technobabble at bit.ly/tnob. That's bit.ly/tnob, as in boy. And that's my other podcast. That's the video and graphics podcast, whereas this is internet technologies. And that means it's time to talk about today's topic. Today's topic is centered around, well, Ephesians 5. If you go to the NASB translation, which is a very literal translation, some people think it's perhaps a little more wooden. It seems a little more formal to me. And read just verse 1, Ephesians 5:1. Therefore, be imitators of God as beloved children. Now, that's one of the verses that pops into my head from time to time, and I think of all the ways that I can be an imitator of God. And then there's a part of me that likes to joke. You might get that about me. I love joking. For me, a sense of humor is one of the most important things you can have. So I like to joke that I just don't have omnipresence down yet. I keep trying and trying to be everywhere, but I just haven't gotten that. Well, that's a bit of a joke, but when you think about technology and what it allows us to do, literally, if you look in the right place, it can appear like I am several places at once. So, last night I wrote a blog post of the numerical goals that I have for my site, trinitydigitalmedia.com, and how things are proceeding up and to the right. There's still some growth areas. There's some areas where I'm not on track to meet my goals, so I've got to concentrate more on those areas. There are other areas where all I have to do is keep doing what I'm doing and everything's great. And there's one area, my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/trinitydigitalmedia, where I've hit my goal for the year. I started off with 18 likes, and now I just checked, I have 102. I thought that was the most ambitious of all the goals, and yet I've hit it already. It's June, so I might have to rethink that and add more to it or something like that. But thanks to all those of you who have liked that page. But the reason that I tell you that about this particular blog post, a lot of people aren't numbers people. I'm not normally a numbers people. I'm not normally a numbers person, but the thing about numbers is they're easy to measure. So if I say I want to have 20,000 Twitter followers by the end of the year, and right now I have 14,100 or so, I know how much I have yet to do. So the heart behind that is just to share what I'm doing with the hope that it'll help your church, and to know if what I'm doing is correct or not. Now, part of the reason that I have so many categories, 5 or 6, is part of a strategy that I originally heard of from Pat Flynn over at Smart Passive Income, which is one of the podcasts that I listen to. I don't necessarily want to have a passive income, but he's got some great business advice, and his heart is to be someone who's helpful, and that's exactly what I want to do myself. Is I want to be a helpful person. I want to be a helpful resource to all of you in the church. So his strategy is to be everywhere. And what he means by be everywhere is to have a presence on a whole lot of different websites, so that if you look at a couple of websites in order, it feels like he's working like crazy. It feels like he's in all these different places all at the same time, and really it helps you to develop a friendliness with him, and interactivity, and that drives his business. Well, I also have a similar strategy, and that is that I'm trying to be everywhere. Now, not literally everywhere, but I'm trying to be enough places that people think, huh, who is this Paul Allen Clifford guy? Where did he show up? I'm just seeing him all over the place. That's my strategy. So I, of course, have my website, trinitydigitalmedia.com. I have the URL churchtechcast.com, which will eventually be its own site, but right now it just redirects to trinitydigitalmedia.com/live. And that's kind of my hub. But I also do a lot on Twitter. I also do a lot on YouTube. I do a lot on Facebook, etc., etc. And so my plan is that if you go to any one of these 5 or 6 sites that I'm on, that you could at any time find something new from me, so that you're more familiar with me, so that you know, like, and trust me, things like that. And I think that's a great strategy for churches, because you can be insular. You can say, well, I've got a website, so why would I worry about Twitter or Facebook or Pinterest or LinkedIn or et cetera, et cetera? Well, it's a good point. Why would you worry about those? But I think that each site has its own audience. There are people that love each social networking site and don't go to others. And if you don't go to those sites, then you can't interact with them. So that's why I'm on Google+. That's why I'm on Pinterest. That's why I'm on Facebook. That's why I'm on Twitter. That's why I'm on YouTube. Is I want to be interacting with all these people. So that's, I guess, the second reason. The first reason is so that if you go to any of the sites that I interact with, you can see overlap from me in multiple places. Secondly is so that people that only go to that site and others that I'm not on can interact with me. So it broadens my reach. And for churches, broadening your reach is a very good point. YouTube, you may or may not know, is the world's second largest search engine. So there are a lot of people that will go to YouTube when they want to see a video about whatever they want to see a video about. My oldest daughter is 11, almost 12. She'll be 12 in August. I'm recording this in July. So she, whenever she gets a hold of my computer, she automatically goes to YouTube and she searches for videos that she wants. Now, if I'm not careful, I'll find that she's watching a pirated Barbie video or something. She's still a little girl, even though she's trying to be a teenager, she's not quite there yet. I'll see that she's watching a pirated Barbie video, and that's probably one of the first ones that came up in her search. And see, this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for the studios that make the Barbie videos to put legitimate copies up and monetize those through advertising. But instead, since the only copies that are up there are the pirated ones, people that don't know better or don't care about quality, or kids, are going to watch the ones that are there. So you have an opportunity as a content creator to be where people are. And that's something that's very important. Part of the Be Everywhere strategy is being where people are and being able to interact with them. You don't want someone else to interact with people that you're supposed to interact with. Let me say that in a different way. You don't want someone to take your content and use it in such a way where they are stealing your interactions, for lack of a better term. That, it could be that they're just doing it innocently, but let's think about it this way. Imagine that your congregation, there's someone who's trying to be helpful, and this person takes video from your main site and puts it on YouTube. And they're trying to be helpful in putting it on YouTube, but when they're being helpful, what they're doing is they're making sure that you are findable, but you're not there to interact with them. So if there's a question, they might not know how to answer it because, let's say you're the pastor and you delivered the sermon, yet you don't know that your sermon is on YouTube. They ask a question about it, and the person who puts it up there gets the message and responds to the message, and they get it almost right. And that might be a problem, because it could be that the almost right answer is enough wrong that it causes problems. So I do want to encourage you to be the official source of your own voice, countering people that are unofficial sources. I think that that's kind of important for churches. From time to time, we see news stories or memes or whatever from churches or ministries where something gets out and without its context it seems really bad. I'll give you a great example. There's a little meme going around right now, a little viral video or viral story about a pastor in Texas that is saying he needs a new helicopter, and if you will send him money, God will give you a new car. Now, I'm not going to judge his motives or if he's being pure in this, but I will say it doesn't look good because I'm not hearing it directly from him. I'm hearing it through the filter of other people that say, yeah, this doesn't look good. He should be the source of what he's trying to say. Maybe he's got something good happening. I can't imagine what it is, but let's say for the sake of argument that he has a pure heart in this, that he really feels like this is a way to help people, is if you're generous with what you have, God will bless you in your generosity. Maybe that's what he's thinking. I don't know. But it's kind of, since this piece is taken out of context, it's really hard to judge what he's saying. So, and we're not called to judge, which is why I'm kind of withholding judgment on him and trying to assume the best of him and his ministry that maybe I just don't understand, because I think that's absolutely possible. I know occasionally my pastor will say something which he says in joking, but if you take it in isolation, you wouldn't know that he was saying it in joking, and you might think that he was seriously saying something kind of bad. So maybe it's something like that, or maybe it's quoting someone else, or, there's a myriad of things that could be what's going on. So you should be your official source of information in as many places as possible, so that if someone quotes you out of context, they can immediately find the original and go, oh, well, that's not what he meant at all. He didn't mean anything like that. So I think that would counter a lot of bad press. It seems kind of amazing to me how much bad press the church and Christians in general get, and a lot of it's out of ignorance, just because we're not really putting it out there. We're not really doing what needs to be done to be proactive in our responses. So instead we come off as reactive, kind of saying, oh, those evil blah blah blah, or oh, I was misquoted, or etc. Whereas if we could be proactive and have everything out there immediately, communicate clearly and without reservation, we might find that we accomplish quite a lot. So that's my idea for today. I want you to figure out how you can repurpose what you're doing already, how you can just be in more places. Let me give you a quick example and then I'll tie up this episode. So last week I started putting up videos that were recorded of this particular podcast up on YouTube. The audio for this podcast I already had as a podcast, but not everyone wants to listen to just audio. So why not throw up the video? I had the video from the live stream. So that's what I'm starting to do, is cut out just the core of the show, stick in the intro music and the outro music, and upload it to YouTube. It takes me a few minutes longer, but not a lot. I'm also thinking of the video-only shows. Maybe I should turn those into a podcast so that people that don't want to watch the video can listen to the podcast. I know as I'm running, I can't really watch video while I'm running. I guess I could, but I might trip on something or hit a tree or something else that would be bad. So I could take the video only shows and make those audio only as well as video, and in that way reach more people and be more places. And the amount of work to do that is much less than starting a new show, even though I'm very tempted to start new shows. And as I get more and more efficient at producing these, I might just do that. So figure out ways to be more places with less work, like taking audio from an existing video, or taking existing video, cutting it together very quickly and uploading it to YouTube, or repurposing tweets in other places. One thing that I do is there is a plugin for Chrome called SocialBa, I believe. Yes, SOCIALBA.com, that allows me to post to Facebook, Google+, Twitter, and LinkedIn all at the same time. And you might notice that some of my posts on some of the longer form places tend to be shorter. And that's because it originated as a tweet. But sometimes I also add in longer posts just so that I create unique content for each platform. So that's probably just another tip. So this week, figure out a way that you can be more places than you have been in the past, and figure out how you can be proactive in reaching out to people so that they hear good news from you first. So should you make a mistake, or should someone take what you say out of context, they have a massive good news to balance the bad news. In those ways, we can go out and change eternity. Till next time, I'm Paul Allen Clifford. Make it a great day.